Hey everyone, and welcome. Get ready for an awesome trip to 50 of the coolest castles around the world. We'll see everything from really old forts to fancy palaces. These amazing buildings have survived for centuries, and people from all over still come to see them. Every castle has its own story, hidden in its walls. Come with me as we explore these super cool buildings, learn about their history, and discover their secrets. Get ready for stories about knights, kings, and epic battles. This is going to be an adventure you won't forget. Here we are at Windsor Castle. It's right on the River Thames and has been home to British royalty for over 900 years. Look at Neuschwanstein Castle. High in the Bavarian Alps, it looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale book with its white towers pointing to the sky. Edinburgh Castle sits on top of an old volcano. It's seen hundreds of years of Scottish history, and its strong shape is a symbol of Scotland's pride. Chapter 4, Prague Castle, a city within a city. Prague Castle is huge. It's got palaces, churches and gardens, and shows off Prague's amazing history and culture. Chapter 5, Himeji Castle. The White Heron takes flight. Himeji Castle is beautiful, with bright white walls and tall roofs. It's one of the best examples of Japanese castles and a real treasure for Japan. Chapter 6, Château de Chambord. Renaissance splendor. This French castle is amazing. It's famous for its fancy staircase that looks like a DNA strand and its beautiful rooms. Chapter 7, Alhambra, Palace of the Moorish Kings. High above Granada, the Alhambra is a stunning palace and fort. It shows how artistic and clever the Moorish people were. Chapter 8, Bran Castle, The Legend of Dracula. This castle is on a cliff in Transylvania. Some people say it's where the Dracula story came from. Chapter 9, Mont Saint-Michel, Island Abbey of Wonders. This amazing place rises up from the water in Normandy. It's a medieval wonder with a beautiful abbey on top. Chapter 10, Peña Palace, a romanticist dream. Peña Palace looks over Sintra, Portugal. It's full of bright colours and different styles, showing how artistic Portugal is. Chapter 11, Kilkenny Castle, an Irish stronghold. Kilkenny Castle sits on the River Nore. Its strong walls have seen lots of battles and tell stories of Ireland's exciting past. Chapter 12, Burg Eltz. A fairy tale in the forest. Burg Eltz is like something from a fairy tale. It's in the Eltz forest, and its towers look beautiful in the Eltzbach River. Chapter 13, Pajama Castle, carved into the mountain. This castle is built into a cave high on a cliff. It's amazing what people can build. Chapter 14, Château de Chillon, Prisoner of the Lake. This medieval castle rises up from Lake Geneva and has inspired lots of artists and writers. Chapter 15, Matsumoto Castle. The Black Crow takes flight. Matsumoto Castle is one of Japan's most beautiful castles. Its black walls and elegant shape are really special. Chapter 16, Conwy Castle, high on a rock overlooking the Conwy estuary. This castle is a perfect example of how medieval castles were built for war. Chapter 17, Buda Castle. You can see Buda Castle from all over Budapest. It's on Castle Hill and has palaces, museums, and amazing views of the Danube River. Chapter 18, Malbork Castle. Built by the Teutonic Knights a long time ago, Malbork Castle is one of the biggest castles in the world. It's even a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Warwick Castle, with its huge towers and walls, has seen lots of history, from medieval fights to fancy parties. Castel del Monte is a mystery. It's a 13th century castle in the Puglia countryside with a strange octagonal shape. Eilean Donan Castle is on a small island where three lakes meet. It's a famous symbol of Scotland, and its romantic look is easy to recognise. High in the Swabian Alps, Hohenzollern Castle was home to Prussian royalty. The Alcazar of Segovia looks like the front of a ship. This fairy tale castle has been a royal palace, a jail, and a military school. Kronborg Castle is at the narrowest part of the Øresund Strait. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the place where Shakespeare's Hamlet takes place. Chapter 25. Trakai Island Castle, Jewel of Lithuania. This beautiful castle is on an island in Lake Galv. Its red walls and towers look amazing in the water. Chapter 26. Castle Howard, a grand estate. Castle Howard is a beautiful stately home with amazing architecture and gardens. Chapter 27. Château de Versailles, Palace of Extravagance. This palace is all about how powerful French kings were. It's famous for its Hall of Mirrors and huge gardens. Stirling Castle is on a volcanic rock. It's super important to Scottish history and has seen many battles and coronations. Liechtenstein Castle is on the edge of a cliff. This fairy tale castle looks like it might fall off, and the views are amazing. Peles Castle is a fairy tale palace in the Carpathian Mountains. Its towers look beautiful reflected in the Peles Creek. Hohenschwangau Castle in the Bavarian Alps is where King Ludwig II grew up. It's a place of fairy tale dreams. Leeds Castle is on two islands in a lake surrounded by a moat. Many people call it the most beautiful castle in the world. Frederiksborg Castle looks beautiful in the castle lake. It's a great example of Dutch Renaissance architecture, and its green spires are easy to see. Chapter 34. Bodiam Castle, moated masterpiece. Bodiam Castle is a classic English medieval castle with a big moat, strong towers, and battlements. Chapter 35. Ashford Castle, from medieval fortress to luxury hotel. Ashford Castle is on the shores of Loch Corrib. Now a fancy hotel, you can stay there and experience Irish history. Chapter 36. Château de Chenonceau, bridge over the River Cher. This beautiful French castle is built right over the River Cher. Spiš Castle looks over the town of Spišská Nová Ves. It's one of the biggest castles in Central Europe and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Corvin Castle, with its pointy towers and drawbridge, is a great example of Gothic architecture. Its spooky history makes it even more interesting. Miramar Castle is on a cliff above the Adriatic Sea. Its white walls and red roofs look beautiful in the Italian sun. Hohenwerfen Castle is high on a cliff in the Salzach Valley. It looks like it's floating in the clouds, and the views of the Alps are amazing. Let's look at Neuschwanstein again. Its tall towers look amazing, like something out of a dream. Windsor Castle is a symbol of the British monarchy. It reminds us of its long history and royal family. Chapter 43. Prague Castle. This castle is at the heart of Prague, and its paths tell stories of emperors, kings, and lots of history. Chapter 44. Edinburgh Castle. This castle has survived everything, and it's a symbol of Scotland's strong spirit. Chapter 45, Himeji Castle. Like a beautiful bird ready to fly, Himeji Castle shows the elegance and strength of Japanese architecture. Inside Chateau de Chambord, you can feel the Renaissance spirit. It shows how brilliant and creative people can be. The Alhambra shows the artistry and culture of the Moors. Its intricate details tell stories of a time long ago. Is it a vampire's home or prince's castle? Bran Castle is a mystery, and its imposing presence is both interesting and spooky. Mont Saint-Michel rises above the tides. It shows how strong faith and human spirit can be. Penna Palace is full of color and imagination. It reminds us to be playful and believe in our dreams. Thanks for coming with me on this trip to see some of the world's most amazing castles. I hope you liked it and want to visit these places yourself. From Windsor Castle to Neuschwanstein, each castle is an important part of history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cool travel